All right, we're live. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Wall Street Rundown. I'm your co-host Billy. I got Wale with me. What's good, Wale?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, we have a special guest host today. Elena is in the house. What's up,
Yeah,
Elena? Welcome to the show.
what's up? Thanks for having me.
Hey, we appreciate you coming through, man. So, hey, we all family here. We're already talking about exactly what we need to talk about. So, typically, what I do, we just go through the market for the week and just understand how things were moving. So, just a quick recap, man. I mean, S&P kind of closed a little bit flat today, right? We still kind of all-time high. Things still looking up and up, but we closed a little bit flat today. The Dow Jones dropped by 0.3%. I think we lost about 142 points, something around that point. QQQ was busting, like we closed a little higher today. You know what I mean? We hit like a new intraday record. We closed around 20,895 and 66. The Russell 2000, I mean, we dropped a little bit. There was a little bit of pressure on this on the smaller cap today, so we're seeing a little bit of pressure from that. But the market drivers, man, I don't know if you guys how you guys feel about this when Netflix beat quarter two earnings, but they still dropped. I couldn't really understand why. I didn't get a chance to jump into the earnings and kind of like see exactly what they were talking about, but I didn't really understand that. But at the same time, we see retail kind of a little bit edging up too. So it's like, what are people spending money on? Like, what is all this mix, result that we're getting? So just want to get you guys' input on that, like especially with the Netflix kind of dropping down a little bit over there. Elena, you can go ahead first if you got any input.
On Netflix or the retail side?
Both. I mean, whatever,
Yeah.
whichever one you want to say.
Yeah, so the retail side, like I've kind of been clocking Nike for a while just to kind of see if they were going to make their little comeback. And I think like Nike, Levi, like they actually did have a nice little rebound. So I was happy to see that.
Yeah, yeah.
And as far as Netflix goes, I think maybe some of that was priced in because Netflix has been rippy.
Oh my God, yes.
So I think it was
Yes.
more of like a sell the news because like we know that Netflix has been killing it, but yeah, I don't think they'll stay down. I think that was just a little profit taking session.
Yeah, yeah. I'm surprised you talking about Nike, man. We've been beating Nike's butt over here, talking about how horrible company they are. They need to
No,
figure it out.
they had a little, some tariff troubles, but yeah, we'll see.
Wale, what you got, man?
Yeah, I think with the Netflix thing, I think, like I said, same thing. I think it was, if you look at its trajectory going into earnings over the last couple of months, it has been one of the best performers since Liberation Day. So,
Mhm.
the numbers were good, but maybe not strong enough to warrant that price target of where it had been trading before that. But again, I think people took profits, probably will see a bounce at some point, because if you look at Netflix entire business, it's tariff proof.
Yeah.
I know they're talking about. I think Trump was talking about putting tariffs on movie production. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but Netflix has
Mhm.
a tariff-proof business, so all of the headlines around tariffs don't necessarily affect their business directly. It might affect the whole economy, right? Like the markets, but
Yeah.
to affect their business directly, no. So if you're looking for a growth tariff-proof business, Netflix is not a bad place to look.
Yeah, I guess people are still Netflixing and chilling, so they're still spending money. And I'm surprised nobody ever like flinch, like nobody even like flinch at the fact that if you look about 2 years ago, we were paying like what less than $10 for Netflix. Now it's like 20 some dollars, and people just paying it. Nobody cares. That's crazy
And,
to me.
and the whole password sharing thing, like they cracked down on
I
that. So
thought that's gonna be the big issue, but nope.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
crazy,
it's kind
man.
of funny though. They no longer give out subscriber growth on their earnings calls. They don't talk about that no more. So if long as the numbers look good from the revenue and the EPS side, because I remember subscriber growth used to be a big
Big thing.
thing in their earnings reports. Then they said we're going to stop, talking about that. So
Yeah,
even if they're losing subscribers, we
nobody
don't know.
knows
So we
because they
don't
don't
know.
report on it. Yeah.
Yeah, since they don't report on it no more. So
And but the other thing also we that happened this week, the initial jobless claims fell by 7,000. It dropped to about 221,000, the lowest level since April. I mean, you know my feelings about the jobless claim data. Like somebody's playing with the numbers.
Yeah.
It does not make sense to me.
No, I think it's the part-timers. Like I think people are picking up
mm,
more jobs and it makes it look like everybody's at work. but that's not replacing like, a six-figure tech job, but that's how it looks on paper. That's my
Mm.
that's my interpretation of it.
And another thing I think we talked about before is that I think that if you get laid off, right, and then you go into the gig economy, you're not going to be applying for unemployment, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you go do DoorDash, you go do Uber, you go do Lyft, you go do something to kind of bridge the gap until you find your next job. You're not going to show up in the unemployment data or in the unemployment claims. So, those two things could be keeping those numbers sort of muted, where it's not getting to a point where people are panicking as far as what the unemployment numbers have done. Because again, I still don't understand how we gone from 4.2 to 4.1 when
Mhm.
you keep hearing about all of these layoffs from these tech companies.
Mm.
You keep hearing about all these layoffs from the government, and it's not showing up in the unemployment data yet. So,
I
Yeah.
mean, we talk about the Doge cut that's coming up too. I mean, it was just passed, right? I think it was like what $9 billion or something like that in cuts. Where is that? Where is that coming from? Well,
mhm.
whose job is going to be cut, especially at the federal level? Like, you know what I mean? Those people are going to lose their jobs. It's like, where are those people going to go?
Yeah.
Where those numbers going to show up?
If you look at the numbers too on like unemployment for like recent college grads, like those numbers are ticking up. And then also the AI, like I heard on Powell's testimony before the House committee a few weeks back, they were asking him like the possibility of unemployment, hitting 10% in 1 to 2 years. So I'm like, eventually the numbers will start to tick up. It's just kind of like a matter of when.
Yeah, yeah, yep. And I'm glad you mentioned that whole AI thing because it's like I think somebody was talking about how the entry level jobs
Hmm.
are no longer going to be a thing,
Yeah.
Mm,
right? Because AI can literally replace those entry level jobs. We talked a little bit about this, like we talked about marketing, we talked about advertising. Those are easily replaced by AI. Like you don't really need somebody marketing entry level to come join those. So it's like, and I agree with you, Lane. It's like we have a lot of people graduating.
Yeah.
Where they're gonna go.
There's a whole generation of people in school right now for jobs that are literally not going to be there.
That is scary.
Yeah.
another thing with the AI that you just mentioned too is that a lot of any job where there's lots of repetitive tasks, AI can replace those jobs or not necessarily get rid of the people, but probably reduce the workforce.
Right.
Because one thing you still need to do, you still need someone to prompt, you still need someone to kind of engage the AI into doing what it's supposed to do. But if you're doing a task that's very repetitive, that's repeated every single day, it is possible that those jobs could start to dwindle. So all of these companies that are investing in AI, right? The whole goal is to reduce your biggest expense, which is humans, right?
People. Yep.
Because if I have a 5-man workforce and now I can cut that down to one person to do the same amount of work with the use of AI, you don't have to pay health benefits, you don't got to pay retirement benefits, you don't got to pay a lot of things because
Yeah.
human capital is your biggest expense. That's why a lot of companies are investing so much money in AI. And like I think Zuckerberg said, right? He said, you know, the AI that they're training is going to replace some engineers,
That's
Mhm.
crazy.
which is going to be crazy. So
That's
That
crazy.
is hilarious. Like I call him like he's like a poacher. Like he's literally picking off all the talent.
that's his MO. That's his
Yeah.
MO. That's
From day
that's
one.
what he's known for.
But come on, man. If somebody offer you $100 million as a
Oh,
bonus, that's
whatever.
not even a salary. That's a bonus. Like, just come join us and you get a hundred
Yeah.
million dollars. You know what I mean? Like, who's gonna say no to that? Like, you really have to be like dedicated to the company you're with for you to say no.
I don't think
You know
anyone's that dedicated. That's crazy.
what I mean? Everybody got a price.
Yeah,
Everybody got a
everybody
price.
everybody got a price.
It's crazy, man. Speaking of AI, I mean, what do you guys think about Nvidia being like one of the most? Is it the most? I think Nvidia is the most valuable company now. It's a $4.2 trillion market cap. I mean, like they're really dominating that area right now.
Mhm.
Now, what do you guys think about like the move to start selling to China? The move to be able to like become this global market dominance when it comes to AI and all this stuff. Because again, Wale, you always talked about the AI story is not just NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA is
Yep.
selling something specific, but then you have all this ecosystem around it also that supports NVIDIA. So if you guys can touch base on that a little bit, what you guys think?
Yeah, so I'm a little split. Like me as an investor, I want to see that, potential 15 billion added into their revenue. But
Mhm.
like as a, private citizen, like I feel like maybe we should beef our tech up here and just focus on here first before we open it up because I mean, this is controversial, I guess, but they are way ahead of us technologically. And I just feel like we need to like really just focus on us right now. But that's my take.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look what they're able to do with the older version of Nvidia's chip.
Yeah, it's just boosting the demand. I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Huawei? Huawei?
Huawei.
Huawei.
Huawei. Yes, Huawei. I feel like we're just like, we're boosting demand for them and they're already kicking Apple's behind. Like it's just a lot. I don't know. I feel like we just need to focus on the domestic and just getting our tech up to speed.
And
Yes,
I also think that Alibaba has been touting that their AI capabilities have been doing
Yeah.
really,
mm,
really, really well. So, I mean, like I said, this is an arms race. It's almost like the Cold War, right? It's
Mhm.
like the arms race to see who can dominate the AI space. And some of the videos I've seen about where China is applying I mean, they're doing a lot of things that the United States is not doing remotely close to at this moment. So,
Crazy.
but like I said, to me, I still think NVIDIA is an important piece to the AI story. I keep saying this to people. When people are looking for gold, sell shovels. NVIDIA is selling shovels, but slowly, or should I say, under the surface of all this, to me, I still stand by this. The most important company is Taiwan Semiconductor.
Yeah.
mm.
And they had earnings this week, and they had very, very good. I think they had 60% revenue increase.
Sheesh.
60.
Yeah.
Are
So
they back over a trillion again or no?
yeah, they're back over a trillion now. They're, I think, at
Okay.
1.2 trillion. I remember before they hit a trillion, I was telling people, I said, this is going to be one of the next $1 trillion companies. I think Broadcom might have got there before them, but TSM eventually made it to them.
Yeah.
Um, but to me, I still feel that if you're looking for something that's still going to continue to grow, because once they finish those factories in Arizona, the ability to meet the demand for AI
They're gonna ramp
chips,
up. Yep.
they're going to ramp up. So
Absolutely.
I'm disappointed that I sold my leaps. I probably should have sold shares because then I wouldn't have had a time limit on when to exit my position, or I could have rolled my position into a higher strike. But TSM, if I get another pullback, I will be back in TSM because to me, I still think that they're the most important company in the whole AI story.
Yeah.
All I know is we better not repeat the same mistake we did with Boeing because I'm still pissed about that.
Yeah, I can't even.
And later we'll be talking about Boeing when Boeing was like what $180, something like
I
that.
just knew Boeing would be at $300. Like I would have bet my life on it. And then we just turned the car around and never looked back.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like problem after problem after problem.
But they came back strong though. Like they
Yeah.
came back strong. I mean, they're up almost 50% from the time they were down. Like I
Yeah.
think they're over 50%. But I mean, that's one of those things also. The other one we talking about is Intel. I mean, Intel been moving also. I think we have seen, I don't know if we're going to see a little bit of, uptick with them in terms of like, changing their business and all that stuff, but the stock is moving nicely for
Yeah,
the past
they,
couple of days.
they got earnings next week too.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
So
helping support.
we'll see what they say because it's like that's another stock that we've been talking a lot about. We believe in that comeback story. So we'll see what goes on with that one. But I am very interested to see if they can get over 30 again. That's
I
If they
gonna
get
be
over, if they get over 30, I'll be very happy.
yeah, gotta-
Because
the other
every time
go ahead, go
I
ahead.
said every time they've dropped below 20, I've been
You've been
accumulating.
buying it.
Yeah, so
That's what's
I'm
up,
I'm
man.
I'm I'm praying they can get above 30.
Oh man. I mean, did it pop up on your short squeeze alert?
They did last couple weeks ago. So I was not in it, but there was a move
Mm,
on September 8th where they were up like 7%. So I did not catch the entire move, but yeah, they did show up last week. So right now
yeah.
they have Let me see where we at now. Yeah, as long as they stay above 2270, I would be hopeful that it continues to make its trajectory higher. But the last couple of days, it's kind of been flip-flopping. So we'll see what happens when it comes back to when it gets to earnings.
The reason why I'm asking that because Citi actually put them as a target for short float. About they have about 3% of float. So
Mm,
after the earnings, we might see some squeeze that come from there also. So
I
we'll
hope
see.
so.
So that might be interesting in there.
Yeah,
Um,
not that far-fetched. There's a gap right there.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The other company that I was shocked, I looked at their chart was PepsiCo. Like, what the heck is going on at PepsiCo? Like that thing gapped up. I was like, wait, what is happening?
Yeah,
Have you seen that chart from yesterday?
I'm looking at it now and I see that it was down today, but it did
But
make a
yesterday.
really big move. Yeah, it's playing catch up to the rest of the market though,
yeah.
because I'm going back to August of last year.
Mhm.
That was a $176 stock, and now we're sitting at what, 140?
Yep,
Got down
yep,
to about 127. So they're playing catch up with the rest of the market. But I think in the sector that they're in, it's kind of normal because consumer staples,
yep.
when growth companies are doing well and everybody's kind of risk on, the companies like Pepsi and like Kroger's and things like that, they tend not to do too well. But yeah, they made a really big move. I think it was like 7% after earnings.
That's
Um,
a big one too.
yeah, and they've been lagging. If you look at Coca-Cola's chart looks a lot better over the last year. It hasn't really gone anywhere in the last year, but you know, they haven't been on a steady decline like Pepsi has been on lately.
Yeah. I mean, it's I guess yeah, like you said, the space they're in, it makes sense for them to move like that. But again, I was just kind of shocked to see that pop up like that, especially with the earnings and stuff. I like they must have
Yeah.
reported some good numbers because ain't no way, boy, ain't no way people still out here drinking Pepsi. That's crazy. So the other thing that we have here is Trump is actually preparing to sign an executive order to remove barriers that currently prevent private equity from investing in 401k. I have no idea what the impact is going to be in 401k if they actually allow them to do that. So if any of you have any input on that, I want to know because it's like, hey,
So
I don't
so
want to
as
mess with my 401k for me.
yeah, so as someone who has managed 401ks in the past and been advisors to what type of assets go into 401ks, to me, there has to be a lot of red tape to protect investors from themselves. Because I'll be honest, the average investor who invests in a 401k is better off just buying a target date fund or an index and never doing anything. Because most people, if left to their own, like, on their own, are not going to make it to retirement. Because
Mm,
I go back to COVID, and when COVID happened, I was working for a firm where we were managing tons of retirement plans. And we had to go out there and basically scream at people, telling them, do not sell.
mhm,
And I'm not talking about people that are like going to retire in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I'm talking about people who aren't going to retire in the next like 10, 15, maybe even 20 years. They were panicking, not knowing that this is the time that they need to be buyers in the market. Like, you don't sell. I'll never forget there was a lady that we specifically sat down with and told her this is not the time to sell out of the markets. Like, you should be fine. We checked her account a week later. She sold at the bottom.
Oh man.
Sold at the bottom. Didn't get back in and didn't ride the market back up because she sat in cash. And when we went back to her and talked to her later, she was like, "Well, my friends told me," and I was just like, "Oh God." I'm like, don't take financial advice from your friends.
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why we're advisors to your plan. We've seen this before. You have told us, I don't plan to retire for 8 more years. Okay. you can ride this downturn. Like you got time on your side.
Yeah.
So with private equity, if this is how I would look at it. So private equity is usually not a liquid asset. You're investing in like VCs, startups, real estate, like hard assets, right? If they tell investors that there's a limited time frame before they can sell, like they do now, like if they're not very liquid. So let's say you jump into a private equity fund and they say, okay, the holding period is 5 years or 10 years. That to me will protect investors against themselves.
Yeah.
It'll keep them from jumping in and jumping out. And so I don't know what type of vehicle they're going to use to get people into private equity, but to me, they should make sure that the holding minimum time frame should be 5 years or 10 years where you can't get out. Because a lot of people, that's what gets people in trouble in 401ks is getting in and out and getting in and out rather than just selecting an asset allocation, sticking to that asset allocation and just rebalancing every single year. That is the best strategy that you can have in a 401k plan. There are reasons why target date funds are so popular because they're set it and forget it investments. Those are the type of things that are best suited for most, not all, for
Mm-hmm.
most people who invest in 401k plans. So
Yep.
I hope there are restrictions that don't allow people to jump in and out of those funds because, I mean, that can be very, very detrimental in the long run.
And it can be costly too, because you get charged all this early fees
Oh,
and all that
yeah.
stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so it's gonna cost you a lot more money anyways.
Yeah.
But
So those are the type of guardrails I would like to see. Private equity, again, very good long-term like performance in most cases. Not correlated to the stock market at all. So it adds some diversification to your overall risk tolerance. But you get the most gain from private equity by being a long-term investor.
mhm,
You know, so we'll see what type of how what that looks like. But I'm hoping that they force people to stay in long term.
yep. Now, Elena, you guys run a really big group of investors and traders.
Mhm.
How do you manage, well, how do you advise like some of those traders or some of those investors on how to like manage their asset, right? Because they make a lot of money doing day trading or swings or all of that stuff. But it's like, how do you help them kind of like, hey, now you got this money, here's a vehicle you can put it in, what is to be real estate, what is to be ETF and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, so I don't advise. I'm not licensed for that. But basically, I like to empower people through education and then also just that emotional regulation so they can like make
Mhm.
decisions. But like, yeah, I teach people, we teach all different assets like stocks, of course, crypto, real estate. We have e-commerce that we teach, help people set stores up. But yeah, I just try to help people understand that there's like more than one way to invest and grow your money over time. So like they're not just like super hyper focused on like
Mhm.
options, for example. But I think when people can see kind of the bigger picture, it helps alleviate some of that, day-to-day fluctuation just in the markets.
Yep, yep, absolutely. And I think while they also kind of talk about that a lot, is like now you make this money, you got to figure out where to put it. And
Yeah,
because let's face it, if you leave all your money in your trading account, you're gonna blow it one day.
yeah, sure. It has to go to work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because this
And one of the things that I advise people that helps you is keep your investing account and your trading account completely
separate.
separate. Like don't don't trade options in an account where you're also holding long-term stock
Hmm.
because the how should I put it? The temptation
Hmm.
to be like down in a trade and you'd be like, I need to average down. And then you look at your Tesla gains and you're like, let me sell some of my Tesla so I can have some capital to trade options with. To me, you got to keep those two things separate. I
Yeah.
used to have mine commingled, but I found out that I have way more peace of mind now where I'm not looking at my investment account and I just focus on my trading account. Whatever capital is in my trading account, that's the capital that I have to trade. Whatever capital is in my investment account, I don't even like try to churn that. So I try to keep them completely separate. So
Yeah, that psychology of trading and investing is you got to be able to. I know we're humans, we can't really live without our emotions, but try to like regulate a little bit. You know what I mean?
I think we got
Yeah,
a question.
yeah.
in the chat box. I think Mark Sanders says Intel CL mentioned they're late to the AI race. Will it hurt earnings? To me, as an investor of Intel, I'm not worried about the earnings per se. I'm more worried about whether or not they're able to reduce the expenses and
Yep.
cut cost.
Yep.
Because they're still, I think, in the fat shedding phase where they got to shed a lot of the fat. So if the earnings are decent, I'm okay with that. I'm not expecting blowout earnings. I'm expecting them to reduce cost and see how they've
Yep.
been reducing costs over time. To me, that's more important when you're kind of in that restructuring phase. But yeah,
Yep.
that's a good question.
Yeah, and if you read about it, I think they're already cutting costs because I think they laid off like 5,000 people a few months ago.
Hmm.
So it's like you can tell they're already reducing some of the costs and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's definitely happening. But another act that just got signed also, the Genius Act, right? If you guys don't know, the Genius Act is basically relating to crypto. So some of the stuff that it covers, it creates an official legal category for payment stable coins, right? So talk about like the US dollar or treasuries, all of that stuff. And also issuers must be a US based or foreign entities under equivalent oversight. Now, that is bringing regulations to the uh, cryptocurrency world, right? And the whole reason Bitcoin and all that stuff was created is to stay away from government, right?
Mhm.
So I don't know how this act fits in with the actual idea of why cryptocurrency was created. You know what I mean? Is this going to make it easier? I think a lot of people are talking about, oh, it's going to make it safer, it's going to make it regulated, it's going to make it even like more safer for people to invest in. But at the same time, it's like the whole purpose of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, in mind, is we didn't want any government intervention when it comes to that. But
Mhm.
this actually kind of like put the government all in there. So it's like,
Hmm.
Elena, how do you feel about that? Like, I feel like I am like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, it's like it's weird because again, like as an investor, you want something that's regulated that you can track and things like that. But like as a again, like as a private citizen, right? It's like it was created to be decentralized. And I also think with this, it's gonna be one of those things almost like the internet where they run into like jurisdiction issues. So it's like, if two Americans are in Australia transferring Bitcoin, like then what? Like,
Right.
so I don't know. I don't know. I'm just curious to see how they actually enforce this.
Yeah, yeah. But then we see a lot of those stable coins that might not actually be doing things the
Yeah,
right way. What's gonna happen to them?
right. It's
You
just,
know?
I don't know, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But
I was watching the video and they're like, this might be either a good thing or it's gonna be we're gonna see the market, the cryptocurrency kind of crash for a little bit and kind of like flush out all the bad players. You know what I mean? All the stable coins that's not actually doing the right things and get flushed out. So I don't know. Is this going to be a drop in in Bitcoin in the coming month? I don't know. We'll see because it's a lot of those are going to definitely get flushed out. Wale, I know you don't like nothing to say you don't like, but it's like you and crypto
I'm
kind of don't see eye to
I mean,
eye.
this is my whole thing on crypto. I understand the use case 100%. I understand why people invest in it, why people say it's a good investment because, you know, it to me, it's a very simple concept. It's Bitcoin is a finite asset. There is a limited supply, right?
Mm-hmm.
With anything with a limited supply, if demand goes up, so does price. Very simple. Whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's strawberries, whether it's houses, whether it's pencils, if I have a limited supply of something that people want, I can drive the price up. So I understand why Bitcoin is doing what it's doing. And because of the dollar losing its value over time because of excess supply, right? It's a good hedge against inflation. Now, the I like to call Bitcoin an asset class rather than like a currency because again, you can't trade. To me, a currency is something that I can use to exchange for goods and services. There's a very limited use cases where you can trade Bitcoin for goods and services. So
Yeah.
you still have to convert it into American dollars. But to me, as an asset class, I understand that it's a growing and getting a more popular as an asset class. Now, as far as the stable coins are concerned, to me, the way I look at it is stable coins are basically like digital money market accounts. That's how I look at it. And I think the use case of them being and being used to transfer money across places, I think that's a very good use case. I don't know if I would store my money in a stable coin. Do they pay interest like a money market account or no?
Stablecoin. I don't know. Some of them do. I think some of
Really?
them do.
Okay.
Some of them don't.
Yeah. So if it's an interest bearing asset, then fine. But if you're just gonna like sit in cash and not earn interest on your cash, to me, that doesn't make sense. And if I'm
Mhm.
not mistaken, aren't stable coins supposed to be backed by treasuries as well?
Mhm. Some of them probably.
They're not?
I don't
Okay.
think so.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no
So
idea.
that's because the thing about that is if there is a liquidity event where people are needing liquidity and they make a run because they're scared, what do you have to sort of back
Right.
those
Right.
assets,
Right.
right?
And
Because
I and I think
we saw what happened in Silicon Valley Bank when everybody wanted their money.
exactly.
The
Exactly.
whole system collapsed.
Yep. Yep.
So
And I,
to me, I feel that's why they need regulation, but I don't
yep.
know if like, Lena said, if that fills the purpose of why crypto was created in the first place.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
But I mean, you bring regulation, kind of like you say, you bring regulation, then you find out that some of those cryptos or stable coins are not actually run legitimately. They might be doing some
Hmm.
illegal stuff. They can't present the proper documentation. They can't present the proper information on where things are stored. They have to close shop. And they close
Hmm.
shop, like you say, if they're not backed by anything, there goes your money. We've seen that a lot, right? Like,
That
it,
creates even more issues,
yeah,
honestly.
exactly. That's what I mean.
Because
That's what I
everybody knows
mean.
when it comes to deposit accounts, like when you put your money in a bank or an institution, it's not your money. They take your money and they go lend it
Invest it.
somewhere else,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep.
So they use other assets when you need to make a withdrawal or you need to do something. There are assets backing where you have your money stored.
Mhm.
But when more people need their money than you have capital that's liquid access to, you get a Silicon Valley Bank issue. So
Yep.
I don't know. Someone said in the chat box, many stable coins are backed by U.S. treasuries, especially the larger, more regulated ones. Okay, I thought as much because again, if it's not backed by something, that to me seems a little bit
It's gonna
fishy.
run.
So
Yeah, yeah. Well, the other thing they were talking about also, it looks like I don't know if it's California or something. They said if you haven't touched your crypto, whatever crypto it is, for like 18 months or so, whether it's to be doing a transaction or moving it or even logging into your account, they consider it to be a lost crypto and they can go in there and take it.
heck no, man, that's crazy.
Uh,
Oh, it's happening. It's happening, y'all. Like
that's
we
wild.
I saw something today on the internet. It says that a Bitcoin whale sold 80,000 Bitcoin today for $9.6 billion.
Yeah,
His initial investment was 54,000.
that's insane. I'm glad he sold though. I love to see somebody take profit.
take
Like,
profit. Yes.
yeah, like you won. You won.
I know the IRS is glad he sold too.
They're coming
They
after him
probably
like
pulled up on him.
50% of that is gone.
Ooh, that's a
But
nine
he's
point
I mean
nine point
he's not
six.
gonna be worried. Like you still end up with like 40 something million. Let's
Let's
say
just say
3
half.
billion. Let's say 3 billion. I mean,
Yeah.
54,000 to 3 billion. That's not a bad money.
Sheesh.
Do you think
Hey,
he
whoever
sorry.
this whale is, if you need somebody to manage those assets and generate income for you,
Get
give
a
me a
wallet.
call. I got some ideas.
Do you think people we're gonna see more whales selling before the regulation kicks in? I'm just curious now.
Mm.
I don't know. That could
All it takes
happen.
is one. All it takes is
That
one.
that could
That's
happen.
pretty big.
Yeah,
All it takes is one.
that's a lot of coin to be selling.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All it takes is one person selling, like one big whale, maybe another one follows, or no, another one follows, and we are gonna see.
Yeah, the timing is crazy on
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But I
But
think bottom line, we are gonna see some shakeup in the crypto market. Like I guarantee you, we're gonna see some shakeup in the crypto market. Some of those are gonna go down to zero. Some of them are gonna be disappearing, and then maybe from there we can rebuild again.
yeah, my only thing with crypto in general, not big, I guess people always tell me Bitcoin and crypto, you got to keep those in two separate conversations. My only issue with crypto in general is the barrier of entry.
Mm.
Like you can just make a crypt like the whole NFT thing. Like you can just make
Ooh.
a crypto coin and just call it a coin and say, "Oh, this has value," run it up and then make people like sell.
Yep.
Like and take advantage of people. The
Yep.
barrier of entry of how to create a crypto coin or currency, quote unquote, that is the issue that I have. Now, I'm assuming, or I've been told that Bitcoin does not have that issue. Like you can't just like, you know, create Bitcoin out of thin air.
Because all
But
the Bitcoins been created already.
correct. Well, not all. I think there's still mining. There's still about 2 million left that'll be mined.
No, no.
Is
What I
what's
mean is, all the crypto that's supposed to be created is already out there.
oh yeah,
Now
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
mining, yeah, it's
The mining,
happening.
gotcha,
Yep.
gotcha, gotcha. To me, I just always ask this question is what stops someone from creating another currency that has the same characteristics as Bitcoin? There's a finite limit of assets. And then all of a sudden they market the heck out of it, right? And then it becomes the new thing. And then people leave Bitcoin and go to this thing. Like
Mm.
that's what like to me, if you're creating a cryptocurrency, what stops me from saying I'm going to create a currency that has the same exact characteristics as Bitcoin? I
Yep.
mean, you have a
Yep.
limited supply. People are going to look at it and say, okay, it's only $1 now, right? And then I'm telling everybody this is the new Bitcoin. Like it's going to
Mm.
make the same, but you can get in early. Like, why get into Bitcoin when you can get into this?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think it's the
that's the
buy-in.
issue I have. That's the issue I
Yeah.
have. So,
I think it's the buy-in. I think people have bought into Bitcoin a lot longer, and they kind of
oh
like
yeah, yeah,
understand the
I
concept
agree.
themselves.
I
Like,
agree. I
you know what I
agree.
mean? So if you, I mean, people try, right? There's a lot of coins out there. There's like, but the supply is crazy. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Um.
Anything that doesn't have a finite supply, to me, you're basically doing the same thing the US dollar does.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the
Yep.
same thing. So that to me is what I that to me is what makes Bitcoin distinct is that there'll never be more than 21 million Bitcoin ever in
Hmm.
life.
Hmm.
And once all of those are mined, as long as there's still demand, right? There has to be demand. Otherwise, price won't go up. As long as there's demand, price will continue to go up. So we'll
Yep.
just have to see will demand continue to increase over time?
The only winner that we're gonna see from the crypto world is the companies that's gonna figure out how to accept Bitcoin as a token to be able to provide services. If
Yeah.
you can figure that out, I think those are the companies that's gonna make a lot of money because you
Mm,
can have 100 million cryptos. You still have to convert it, kind of like you say, you still have to convert it back into
correct.
US dollars or whatever currency. So if you're able to use it as a liquid, but for you as a company or even as an entrepreneur, if you can figure out a way to accept Bitcoin today and be able to provide your services, you can accumulate a lot more Bitcoin into your account. And the money has to move somehow.
Yeah.
It has to move from one hand to the next.
But to me, here's another question that I always ask is if everybody's saying that Bitcoin is going to the moon, right? Like it's
Mhm.
going to keep going up because of demand. What incentive do I have to sell it and use it for to buy something else?
Exactly.
Like why? Why would I buy a house with Bitcoin when everyone's saying that the demand is going to keep going up? I have no incentive
Mm.
to sell,
Yeah.
right? Like I have stocks. I can't exchange my stocks for goods and services. I gotta sell, you know, I gotta sell those stocks in order to convert it into cash to use it for. To me, I think Bitcoin is always going to have that issue because I don't know if it's ever going to get to a point where it doesn't fluctuate that much.
Mm.
Like I don't know. I don't. Will Bitcoin get to a point where it stabilizes, where the currency fluctuations are minimal? Will it ever get there? I don't know. But I'm hearing people talking about Bitcoin's going to 13 million a coin. Like,
Damn,
if that's the case, why would I ever sell my Bitcoin?
Yeah.
that's crazy.
That's
So,
13
that's
million.
the thing. That's the thing that as an asset class, completely understand it. But you know, I don't ever think it'll be something that people are going to use to exchange goods and services because of the fluctuations of how it moves.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know. I could be wrong though.
It's I think it's coming. Somebody's gonna figure it out. To every problem, there's a solution, and somebody always gonna come up with creative ways. Elena, maybe you guys can start charging Bitcoin for the for people to be in the
I always
group.
think about the Papa John's guy. Like I think he spent like what, 2 Bitcoins
Oh,
on pizza.
oh, how much did he spend? I think he spent like over 100, I think.
It was it was a lot. I don't even remember, but it was like ridiculous. Let me see. I feel like I posted it somewhere. Oh yeah, here it is. He spent 10,000 Bitcoins on
Dang.
pizzas,
Dang.
To
2010.
buy pizza, dude. Like,
Yeah, 1.1 billion. It's probably worth more now.
oh,
I mean, I
But
know
that's to your point.
yeah,
Yeah,
I know hindsight's 2020, but
that
yeah.
sucks. Like you had it in your hand. You had it.
That's what he was saying. Like, why would you sell? Like, if it's just gonna keep going up forever, like it doesn't make sense to sell. And then if
correct.
that's the case, why isn't everybody just in Bitcoin and nothing else? Because it is the ultimate hedge if that's the case.
Mm,
Yeah, but also, like I said, but you also still need assets, liquid assets to use to get
right.
through your day-to-day life.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think it could be a good generational asset to pass, but for a lot of people who are like really like sold on Bitcoin,
Mhm.
like from what I hear, it's like, why would I, like to me, they're like, why would I ever sell it? It's just going to keep going up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So if you plan to hold Bitcoin forever, I mean, is the goal to pass it to your kids or your grandkids? I don't know. I can't. I don't have those problems 'cause I don't own Bitcoin.
That's crazy still,
So
man. That is for me. That's still wild. That
yeah, but as long
we.
as the dollar keeps doing what it's doing, Bitcoin will always have value. So
Yep. Yep.
Actually have on my whiteboard this weekend to study the risk of like because I don't know, I don't want to sit here and act like I know, but I've been reading about quantum and like the growth of quantum in the future and how that actually can pose a risk to Bitcoin somehow. So like that's something I was planning on
so
diving.
Billy talked about this.
That
Talk
Yeah.
about this. Talk about
that is
this.
that is that is a big thing, right? So right now, I don't know if you probably heard about this. I always tell people like, if you have Bitcoin, keep your mouth shut. Don't be out here. I'm dead serious. Keep your mouth shut. If you have a lot of Bitcoin, don't go out here gloating, talking about because literally people are being kidnapped and being forced to give away their wallet keys, right? Because once they get access to your wallet, that thing is gone. Like there's no way for you to get it back, you know? So the next thing is gonna be those quantum computing stuff, right? um, the way that you are able to solve algorithms, not algorithms, but for you to be able to break into codes a lot faster with quantum computing is crazy. Like the numbers are crazy. Like something that would take you like, let's say something that would take you 100 years, you can probably break into within like a year or so, and it's getting faster. You know what I mean? And the whole thing about Bitcoin is that it's very encrypted, that it's very hard for you to gain access to those tokens. Now, if you have something like quantum computing and you're smart, quantum computing plus coding, you could probably gain access to a lot of wallets, in no time. So again, I think we talked about this, how the next level of cybersecurity companies is going to be to protect cryptos. Is
Mhm.
literally going to be to protect, something like Bitcoin or Coinbase or any of this places where the wallet actually reside, right? So it's like it's going to be a big thing. Another thing that people keep talking about is keep your coin in a cold wallet, right? The cold
Yeah.
wallet just means like you just carry in your pocket. It's not the only time it becomes hot is if you plug it into a computer or something. But that's not even secure because somebody can grab your crypto wallet and your cold wallet, and then now what? You got nothing else to do. But I think it's a very important thing to study, Elena. Like I think if it become when it becomes a reality, it's going to be a very, very dangerous place to be in when it comes to cryptos. It's going to be really, really dangerous. So,
Yeah. Because the ability for a quantum computer to solve math problems will be crazy. And I
mhm.
don't know when the use case will happen, but I was also thinking that if miners get a hold of quantum computing, they can mine, like that might speed up the mining process,
Yep,
but
yep.
I think we're still a long way. I mean, maybe we're not a long way, but I
I
still
don't, I
think
don't
we're a
think.
ways before we get the next level to quantum computing, because I think that's going to be the next phase after AI. But yeah, those computers, I mean, their ability to solve problems, It's
Crazy.
crazy. It's absolutely insane.
What
I'm
wor-
excited to hear about what they're going to be able to do in the medical field.
yeah,
That's what I'm
yeah.
looking forward to. So
What worries you most about that, Elena? Like, I guess to back to your question, like, what worries you more about like the quantum computing and stuff?
Just the panic, like we were talking about earlier, Bitcoin is like, if it's more, widely accepted and people are trading it for goods and services, like what are the implications on all the companies that are accepting Bitcoin as payment when
Hmm.
their Bitcoin is potentially at risk? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like I just feel like there's wider implications, but I do, like he said, I think we're a ways off from all that.
Well, who was talking about it? Was it Jensen Huang was talking about that, right? And he would say like, "Oh, we're still like maybe 10, 15 years away." And I was like, "This dude is lying. I don't think we're that far. I really don't think we're that far. I think we probably are there already, but they're not just trying to figure out how to. Kind of like when we had the internet, right? We had the internet for years before it became like a publicly widely used thing in
sure,
like
yeah,
1999 and 2000s, right? But I think we already have some of those technologies, but it's just how do you make it safe enough to put it out there where the people can use it
correct.
with parameters around to be able to control it. I mean, you guys see what's happening with ChatGPT right now. There's a lot of people saying ChatGPT is hallucinating, ChatGPT is like this. I mean, yeah, there's still a lot of guardrails missing even with the AI.
Yeah.
So would you put out AI and quantum computing at the same time with before you figure it AI out? Like, I don't know,
That's
man.
true.
That's chaos.
I mean, look at how fast AI has kind of just sort of like it's moved. Like
Yeah,
it's moved so quickly and so fast.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and if quantum computing gets to a point where it starts moving at that same speed, man, like I said, any good asset in the wrong hands is just it's bad. Anything, So I hope that if there are quantum computers that do get to solve problems and issues very quickly, I just hope that the wrong people don't get a hold of it because I'm pretty sure people on the black market they're gonna start Bitcoin hunting. I am sure of it.
They're probably
So
already doing it right now.
yeah, probably already doing it right now. The one thing though is that quantum computers require a lot of energy and a lot of cooling. So if you're someone who's in the process of trying to steal Bitcoin, I mean, you probably gonna show up on the power grid. They're gonna be
Have
able to
you
find you.
seen in China where they're cooling their systems in the ocean?
Yep. So
Dude,
Microsoft did the same thing, but they abandoned
that,
that project.
man,
That's crazy.
it is
That's
Yeah, they have
ridiculous.
they have their data. Some of their data centers are being built underwater to
That's
insane.
save
that's
to save money on cooling.
that's insane. And we over here still dancing to TikTok. That's crazy. We're still making dance moves and
I do not know why Microsoft abandoned that project, but they were doing
probably
the same
expensive.
thing. Yeah, probably expensive. Yeah, maybe.
And you got to
Maybe.
figure it out too. Like, that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Underwater. That's nuts. That is nuts. Now, I was gonna ask a question about you talked a little bit about energy. Elena, you guys looking into like energy stuff? Because we talked a little bit about a few months ago, we talked about Oklo. So Oklo was like one of the biggest trades that we did. I
Hmm.
think we were in Oklo when it was like below $4 or $5, something around there. Have
Hmm.
you have you looked into like any energy like when it comes to like nuclear energy and all this stuff? Have you guys been talking about that a little bit, or is that something you guys interested in?
Not me personally. I know that's more like Jay's wheelhouse. Like he loves like the energy and stuff, but no, I'm more like the indices and like the chips and all that good stuff.
Okay, okay.
But I did see Oklo. It was on my top gainers list for the week.
Nice, nice. Yep. So we've been talking about Aklo for a while, man. Aklo, I mean, the whole Wale, what's that story you sent me about Japan having like a small modular, like a box or something like that to be able to power
Yeah,
a
so
whole city?
they've built, I guess they built this nuclear like trailer where they're using it that I guess it has the potential to power entire cities.
Mm,
Um the and again, nuclear is considered green energy. So to me, I've been saying this, nuclear is going to play a part in this whole data center, you know, production phase and stuff like that. But I wonder if using it to power cities rather than just data centers will eventually become a thing. But you can tell that, Congress is all in because they just signed that bill for what was it, $70 billion
Mm-hmm.
in power infrastructure. So
Mm-hmm.
updating the grid, nuclear, all of those things are going to be a part of the whole like um, AI story. To me, after chips, the next biggest thing is power. That's the next most important thing because again, these data centers are running 24/7, 365.
Yep. Yep.
So, the ability or the need to meet that demand will continue to move higher. And if you go look at UEC, go look at the move UEC has made.
Oh, that uranium thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
go look at the move UEC has made over the last like 5 or 10 days.
This is beautiful.
Like green. Well, they were like at $6 or $4. How much
Yeah.
were they? They were like at $4 or $5, and then they're like $8 now. And we saw that big offload that's coming into them
Yes.
too. So inflow
For
that's
the
coming
10
in.
the $10 strike
Yep.
expiring in August
8
15th.
15th. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm in a couple of those. I took a flyer on a couple of those, but yeah, this was one I did not post because it only briefly showed up on my short squeeze list and then it disappeared. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna. And then
And then
next thing
yeah,
I
we
know
see
that
it.
this thing took off. But
But shout out to Joby. Shout out to what's that?
you know,
Futu. Shout out to
Arch.
Arch. Those ones were really 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 nice. Let's move on to earnings for next week. We have a lot of earnings coming next week. We have Verizon reporting before market. I'm trying to see what else. Domino's Pizza. I mean, I used to trade Domino's Pizza back in 2020. That stuff used to move. And then we have on Tuesday, July 22nd, we have Coca-Cola, American Express, GM, Lockheed Martin. Um, Let me see what else is Philip Morris. Philip Morris kind of disappeared a little bit, but they are the old faithful. If you ever traded Philip Morris, they're very very faithful when it comes to their move. I'm trying to see if anything crazy coming up next week.
Tesla
Yeah,
and
Tesla's
Google.
reporting, GE's reporting, ServiceNow is reporting. Hey, QuantumScape is reporting also. Chipotle is reporting, and then we have IBM.
and
So
Intel.
and Intel also, and
Intel, I think it's
then
on Thursday.
yep, and then we have Google on Thursday also. And yeah, any of those that you guys are looking forward to? Anything you're looking forward to, Elena?
Intel for me.
I wouldn't
Oh,
say, okay.
go ahead.
No, it's okay. I wouldn't say I'm looking forward to Tesla earnings, but I'm just ready to rip the Band-Aid off. Just see what, like it's just a lot. Like their overseas sales look crazy. Like how Elon is acting crazy. So yeah, I just want to get it over with.
But
So
come
some
on, like with Tesla though, like the way they move, Elena, is like it
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense. Like they can have some terrible numbers and it still
yeah,
runs, you know?
yeah.
so someone put a big trade on Tesla yesterday. It was a bullish call spread, and I looked at the premium,
Mm.
19 million
For bullish.
bullish. So they bought the 350 calls and they sold the 380s. I don't know what the expiration is on those, but let me take a look real quick.
I mean, the daily there's a pennant, like I see it. So like I'm not against this. We got our little golden cross. So
Mm-hmm.
if she wanted to fire off, it actually looks like it wants to. It's just
Let,
like,
let me find the trade. Oh man, what did
So you
I?
think you think we're probably gonna test that 360? Is that 360 area?
yeah, what is that? 367-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. But
That would be a
if I see
beautiful.
someone else put in $19 million on Tesla, trust me, I'm gonna get in.
That would be a beautiful move,
Do it.
man. That would be a beautiful move. But as
Yeah.
as we wrapping up here, Elena, again, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate
Oh,
you coming and chopping it. You are our first official guest.
oh,
Appreciate you
cool.
coming
Thank you.
in. So this is gonna go for the books. But definitely appreciate you coming in. Please tell the people where they can find you, where they can follow you, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I'm on all platforms at Investing Bay, and I don't know. That's all I
Yeah,
got.
yeah. Hey, if you guys don't know Elena, man, we started chopping it up back in 2020, 2021. We started trading together and all that good stuff. And bro, I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of people that we trade with that kind of disappeared. Elena has been in there. Like she's one of the few female traders that's actually like doing really, really good in this space. There's a lot of great female traders, but Elena is always visible, always willing to help. If you guys go to investingbay.com, she has all her courses, all her classes, all of that stuff in there. But please make sure you guys support her and go in there. But overall, man, again, thank you so much for being here. Any advice for our investors, our traders, anything you want to give a tip or anything like that?
Yes, take your time. You only have to get rich once, and
Come on.
defense wins championships.
There
That's
you
all
go. That's a bar right there.
Defense wins championships. I like that. I like that.
Wale, man, I'll let you wrap us up, man. Any advice going to next week? Anything we should look forward to?
Yeah, the only thing I will say is at least earnings have been good. The economy seems to be fine. We saw some exhaustion today, but like I said, the market can't run up like this forever. You're going to see times where things kind of start to slow down. But my eyes are going to be on the next 2 weeks when we get the Fed meeting on the 30th.
Mhm.
That is what I am going to be looking at is what does Jerome Powell say? Because again, I will say this, unemployment looks good. So far, tariff data hasn't caused any real big disruptions. So if Jerome is kind of like, yeah, we just gonna keep waiting. We don't need to cut. We'll see if that kind of because everybody has their eyes focused on September cuts.
Yep.
And if Jerome throws cold water on that idea, I think that to me will, you know, get people a little bit upset. And then the
Yep.
markets will get upset as well. But
Yep.
aside from
Yep. Yep.
that, man, I hope that, again, as people are kind of trading and kind of riding this uptrend in the markets, take profits and put it into a long-term portfolio or have it somewhere
Facts.
where you can deploy it into a long-term portfolio at a later date. I'll keep saying that because again, trading is not the end all be all. To me, it's a means to an end.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yep. Hey man, so looking ahead next week, you guys know there's a big tech earnings coming up next week. We have, kind of we talked about, we have Google, Tesla, IBM. We have some key economic data coming. I forgot to mention, but we have new home sales and durable goods also coming out next week. And I think Jerome is talking on Tuesday, I believe. So
mm,
we have he's going to be doing a speech and all that stuff. But again, we are 2 weeks away from that tariff policy expiration deadline. So
August
August
1st.
1st, keep an eye on that. That might bring some volatility to the market also. So again, just keep an eye on all of that stuff. With that being said, Elena, thank you so much for being with us today.
Appreciate you.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Well, you guys have a good night, and we will see you guys on Wednesday.